My name is Joseph Jamison. I'm a member of the executive of the U.S. Peace Council. I'm from New York. The U.S. Peace Council is the U.S. affiliate of the World Peace Council, which is an international anti-war organization, has been around for many decades. We are different from most U.S. anti-war organizations in that we are consciously anti-imperialist. Other peace organizations in the U.S. are liberal or humanitarian or pacifist or religious, and they all do many good things, but they don't have an understanding necessarily of imperialism and the reality of it. And certainly in my week here in Venezuela, we understand and can see the reality of U.S. imperialism. And
how's your impression? I mean, how do you like your stay in Venezuela?
Well, we have been here at a very interesting time. The hotel where we are staying was the hotel where most of the delegates for the non-aligned movement were staying the first few days. And then came the blackout. And I believe the claim that it was an electromagnetic attack. We can argue about to what extent,
of course,
policies here created weaknesses, but nevertheless, it was an attack by the United States on the people of Venezuela. And that attack assumes many forms, above all, the economic warfare, the so-called sanctions.
Did you feel threatened during the blackout? Did you feel like
for us it was
fear for your security or something?
No, it was for us. It was an inconvenience.
Of course.
But for millions of working class Venezuelans, it was a threat. Lack of water. I am sure people died on operating tables in hospitals.
Yes.
I don't know the number yet, but there are people who must have died. The sick must have died from lack of water or lack of care, public services. So it was ugly and brutal. I came here already persuaded that the Trump administration is following a brutal, ugly policy of trying to crush Venezuelan independence. But I was even more persuaded, and I saw it up close when I was here. The other thing that is interesting is the Sao Paulo Forum, which we attended one day of it, the first day, and it was frankly rather chaotic, although apparently not all of it was chaotic, because I saw on Telesur some interesting classroom sessions that seemed very orderly and very dignified and very but even chaotic, it had a usefulness for us in that we learned, we met and we networked with many progressive revolutionary currents of opinion in Latin America. It was a broad church, so to speak. It seemed to be a convocation of all left-wing forces in Latin America, and it's good to meet them.
Yes.
We met people from Colombia, from all Mexico, Paraguay, Cuba, Portugal, Spain, and so forth. So let me say that we in the U.S. Peace Council have been very active on Venezuela lately.
Yes.
For example, working with COSI, which is the committee, you know the Spanish. It's the opposite number of the U.S. Peace Council. It is an affiliate of the World Peace Council in Venezuela. We organized several trips by U.S. peace movement leaders to Venezuela
early this year
to get a picture.
Yes.
And so we were able to do that because we have contacts here, COSI. Other groups, excellent groups, but they don't have the contacts that we have. That's one of the benefits of being in the World Peace Council, is that you have an international network of contacts.
Yes.
And so since then, we have been involved in other struggles. For example, the struggle to keep the Venezuelan embassy in Washington from falling into the hands of the Juan Guaido imposter,
The collective.
bogus government.
Yes.
We were not directly involved in the sense that we were not in the building, but we built support for it, and
That's important.
now we are working to create a
Actually, one of your guys was beaten up, right?
right, a friend of mine.
Gordon, right?
He was a president of the Veterans for Peace.
From
He
Veterans
is a
for
close
Peace.
friend of mine. We traveled together several years ago in Syria. Jerry Condon,
Jerry Condon.
very
yes.
good man, excellent
Yes.
man. So we have ongoing work. We are creating a defense fund, and the U.S. government, Pompeo and Bolton, are trying to persecute the men and women who led the struggle to keep the embassy safe.
Yes.
Especially Margaret Flowers and Kevin Zeese, leaders of a popular resistance movement organization, and they are being burdened down with very big legal fees. So we're trying
Yes.
to create a defense committee.
That's fine.
And moreover, there is ongoing political activity. In September in New York, all the nations of the world come to the UN for the General Assembly. And so the world media has a spotlight on New York and the General Assembly. So we're organizing demonstrations broader than usual, trying to involve some of the liberal and pacifist
That's fine.
who are somewhat confused about Venezuela, but who nevertheless agree with us on the lawlessness of U.S. foreign policy, and who will work with us and join our demonstration. We're calling it the People's Mobilization.
That's going to happen in September.
September
New York City.
22nd. September
New York.
22nd in New York.
That's fine.
So outside the UN. So that's still in the planning stages, but it will happen.
That's fine.
So that's our general perspective. We do work on Iran. There are so many wars to choose from. Iran and other
Syria.
outrageous, North Korea, outrageous activities by the Trump administration. We fight them.
By the way, it's excellent the work that you do.
Yeah,
I
we
mean-
fight the military budget. And it's a huge problem. We have no opposition party in America. No, the Republicans say 750 billion. The Democrats say, oh no, 733 billion.
Yes.
It's still,
The same imperialistic approach.
and it's still
Yes,
100 times bigger than it should be.
that's right.
And because they both are corporate parties, ultimately, they are both parties of monopoly capital.
Do you want to add something before ending the interview about your stay here in Venezuela, the meeting with the Communist Party,
Well,
or the work that you are planning to do with the Peace Council?
Well, we certainly enlarged our list of contacts with progressive Venezuelans of all sorts. The left-wing trade unionists we met here today,
Yes.
mostly communists, but I think not all of them communists, but are people with whom we will try to stay in contact. We met the Mexican comrades, and that's very important for us to build up our
Yes.
contacts there because of so much happening between our two countries.
That's true.
So I came away stimulated by everybody here is an anti-imperialist. In the United States, I have to fight to use that word.
Yes.
In certain circles.
Yes, it's like a taboo,
A taboo.
talking about
A taboo.
socialism.
A taboo.
Even not communism
Right.
is like
I'm glad you
incredibly hard to
Right.
say. Even socialism is it's like if you were swearing.
As you see, in America, even moderate social democrats like Bernie Sanders
That's
and
true.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are red-baited.
They got scared.
because
They
use
got
the word
scared
social.
on using that word.
So, but it is, when you see, Latin America is a zone of struggle.
Yes, it's different.
And more so than any other continent. And so coming from right-wing America, it lifts your spirits to see the rebel spirit.
It's nice to hear that.
Yeah,
It's nice to
good
hear that.
Yeah. And also I compliment you on your work.
Thank
Leora.
you.
We definitely need, in the English language, much more information about Venezuela.
Yes,
There's
that's
a lot
what
of
we are.
confusion.
That's what we're trying
We
to
have there's a section of liberals in America who, they're good on feminism, they're good on gun control,
environment,
but they're terrible on imperialism.
international imperialism.
issues,
Yes.
And that's a problem. So your
Thank you.
new website helps with that.
Thank you a lot. Thank you for your time.
Good to meet you.